We don't use this one at the moment, but I think in the future we might need it for doing stuff with the trees. So I need to make a few of these like water points at a few places around the farm. All right, I'm on a break because it's really hot this time of year. Like the hot season, it's hot from like 9 in the morning. Other times of year it can take till like 11 to get hot. So working is a bit more difficult at the moment. There's very little clouds today, so very hot sun. Got loads of bananas at the moment for some reason. I've been cutting the grass and Pen's picking up a bit of like the cuttings and putting it onto some of the mud I've been putting around here. I don't know if I don't know, but I hope that there's grass seeds in there and that will help some of that grow back a bit quicker. Yeah, the digger's been in here sort of smoothing out the bumps I had over there and, you know, filling in the holes with a bit of mud, and it's completed most of it, but we still have a few low spots I would like to put a bit more mud in. And we've been filling in a couple of low spots over there as well. Well, I've done most of it, but I think I'm going to leave that little bit there for tomorrow or later maybe. So this area here was a bit of a low spot. It was right where our gate was, so all around our gate was flooding. It's a bit silly, so we thought we would try and raise all this up. So I'm going to get mud all filled in the other side of the fence as well, and then I'm going to just take the screws out of these and raise them all up a bit so it clears the new ground level. It's a bit of a mud bath, you know, when it rains now. The dogs are messy and whatever, but we'll just have to put up with it for another... I'm hoping the grass will be back in about a month or two. Might take up to 3 months. Depends how much rain we get. What are you doing? It's hot, Bung Bung. Why are you out in the sun? What's the matter with you? I guess he probably just wants to see what I'm up to. So if you've seen the old videos, you've seen that there is... Forget down the back of the farm, that's a different story. But even right round the pond here, there is quite a lot of flooding going on. And well, you know, I've got this new saw going to fill in some of these, well, what I would call problem areas. The guy who drives a digger is saying, you know, you want to be a bit careful because you're saying to the water, you know, come here, come here, come here. But, you know, if it's got nowhere to go, then it's still going to flood. So his idea was around the house there, instead of having it all like sloping to the pond, he reckons I should just sort of fill it all in a bit, just raise it up. I think he has a point. It's not a bad idea, but still I just feel, you know, if it's not on a slope away, it's going to flood anyway, sort of somewhere. So best to get it to here and then do something with it. So this is my plan, because I feel that we can dig this pond in this direction really as much as we like. So fill in the high spots where I really don't want water, and then see how this goes. And we can pull this bank back further, and I can even dig the pond all the way back here. I mean, if I want, all the way to the fence there, so I can drastically expand the water holding capacity of this area if I want to. And that is what we're going to do. We're going to, this corner here is probably going to be pulled back a bit. Not dig all the way back there for now, but just a little bit. See how it goes. If we've got a problem, dig a bit further. If we've got a problem, dig a bit further, that sort of thing. Just think better to have a flooding problem going on over here rather than over here around our house. So we're going to have a bit of leftover mud here, and that's going to be used to like round the mango tree and whatever, and some low spots we've got still in there. I don't know why they always love to go wherever it's the messiest and the dirtiest. I'd like to carry on around the garden, but it's just too much. I don't know what else to do. When it's really hot like this in the middle of the day, it is kind of like, you know, well, what do you do? Because you're sort of physically limited. I might go inside the house, see if I carry on with the bathroom a little bit. There's lots to do in there. It's either that or like go out to a find some aircon in a coffee shop or something, but I don't really fancy that, to be honest. Well, since it's too hot outside to work or whatever, so we'll make, that's what we should do, we'll make a nice coffee. So I put a tiny bit of water in the kettle. I've been having these Nescafe blend and brew 3-in-1. It's got like 0% sugar, but it does have, I'm sure it has those sweeteners which some people avoid. Just enough to melt. It's very good, it's really very good. You know, I've got this theory that like if you want a good hot coffee, if you don't have an espresso machine at home, you have to go to the shop. But for a cold coffee, I find the ones I can make at home much better than the shop. Have you got any plans for my lunch?
I'm gonna make the tuna sandwich.
Tuna sandwich. Alright, put a bit of cheese in it then, I guess. We better eat that before it goes bad. When I was cutting the grass, I saw one of our big mangoes just falling down. It's down there. I've thought of what I can do. I can make a YouTube video. Well, I am already kind of doing one, aren't I? So this morning I've been cutting the grass in here. I want inside the fence done every 2 weeks rather than as the rest of the farm is done once a month. I want to, as much as possible, keep short grass in here so we have less snakes coming in here, have a little less dog and snake action going on. Another reason for cutting the grass though is you don't want it growing up tall in around the base of your tree because it stops the sunlight getting in there. The more shade you have and the more damp you have inside of here, you get a bit of mold growing up the trunk. So the shorter we can keep the grass, the better really. So in that other video I was talking about the grass cutting and we were thinking about putting the weed killer and some people were replying in the comments that that's really bad and you shouldn't do that. We had the grass cutters do around the fence here and the reason for that is to, well, they say that it discourages snakes coming in. So that's the reason for that. I don't think it's that band one they're using. It's one that sort of absorbs down through the grass from the top, is what they say. I think sunlight penetration is really important for these trees. It might be important for other types of crops and trees too, but I think for durian, because they're so disease prone, having the trees thinned out, having as little grass as you can around the bottom of the trees is good because it more sunlight and more air circulation, and it just helps prevent some types of disease. A few people were suggesting things like, you know, put some plastic piping around the bottom of the trees, that will protect them from the grass cutters. And one chap even said, you know, lay some membrane down around the trees. Well, you could do that, but my concern with that is that if you put anything there, it's just going to stop the sun getting in there and cause damp. Another person suggested mulch. Again, it's just going to block the sunlight getting in there and stop it drying out. So you can see on these two here, there's some black mold growing up the sides of the tree, so that's the kind of thing that we're trying to cut down on. So the more sunlight the better, and that goes right back to when you plant the trees in the first place. We have ours on an 8 by 8 meter spacing. Some people say 10 by 10 is better for the reason that you'll get more sunlight penetration once the trees are bigger. I think I'm going to have a wander over there into that neighbour because I've never actually been and seen their durian before, so we're going to have a look at them and I'll tell you what I think of them. So this is where they were cutting down all the rubber trees. That dog I don't like. This is where that dog lives, so for once I'm in that dog's territory. Perhaps I'll start weeing on everything. So I'm up the back here. I won't go in, I don't need to, because I can see what I want to show you right here. So you see on that tree there, it's almost got like 3 trunks growing up the middle. So it's got like, say, called the main one on the left, and they've left 2 very vertical branches that are essentially competing to be the top of the tree. One of the reasons that I don't like this and this branch, and I would definitely cut those off, is because it's a very shady point in there, and you don't get sunlight penetration ever. It depends on the orientation as well to the sun. You know, the sun's mostly, it's very high in Thailand, but it is on that side of us, still on the southern side. So when you have an acute angle branch, especially on the northern side of the tree, it's like you never get the sun in there. Whereas these nice horizontal branches like this are just getting sunlight all day. They might cut those branches off later. I'm not sure what their plan is. If it was my tree, I would have cut those branches off a long time ago. Some people say don't prune them for the first couple of years, so it might be that they're waiting and they're going to do it later. But some people do just leave them like that. And I'm not saying you can't, it's okay, but I'm just trying to say what I think is best. On this side, I've got a nice like horizontal branch, and this one here is really quite vertical, a little bit too much, more than I like. And it's also on the north side of the tree, so this gets the least sun, and there's all mould all up this tree, and inside that groove in there is very shady. I might end up taking this branch off, but see how it goes for now. I've got nothing else in this area of the tree, so I thought I would leave it. So here and there I don't always follow my own rules. Trees where I'm running my little experiment, leaving one and pruning another. So some people say, yeah, don't prune, leave them alone, or don't prune them for 2 years or whatever. I can't say I agree with that. What I do is I put them in the ground, and as soon as they as soon as they start pushing new leaves out, as soon as I know that it's growing, that's when I will prune it. And that could be in as little as a month or 2 months. Can't take too much off, you don't want to kill the tree. These 2 branches I have down the bottom here, they're a little bit low to the ground, and I don't necessarily want these, but the reason I left these at the moment is just so they help feed the rest of the tree. So once this bit gets a bit bigger and a bit stronger, I might then remove these 2 lower branches. To show one more example of that on this small tree here. So this branch here, I almost certainly don't want it. It's too low to the ground, but there's very little up here, so I'm just leaving it for now to help support the tree. Obviously it's giving energy to the tree, but also consuming nutrients. So as soon as I can, as soon as this grows a little bit big, a little bit better up here, I'm going to remove that one so the tree can focus its growth where I want it. The weather report says it's about 35, and like real feel 39. It really does feel much closer to 40 than 30 today. Penny, is my sandwich ready? It's been ages. I'm hungry. So Puck's going to take all the excess from that area and chuck it over the fence. And then I think tomorrow we've got some workers to come and help us use the wheelbarrow to deliver that extra mud here and there to like some of the low spots we've still got in the garden here. All right, thank you. It's very good, but it's missing salt and vinegar crisps. If I had salt and vinegar crisps, it'd be perfect. Now, obviously, they have their flavors that are unique to Thailand, and I can get salt flavor crisp, but salt and vinegar, I don't think I've ever seen that for sale outside of England. Iced tea is okay. This is the mango that fell off our tree. It's pretty good. Sort of half sweet, half sour. I didn't think there was that much left. It's quite a good quantity to fill in the holes we have. That's all looking a bit better out there as well. Starting to get a few clouds come over, so hopefully that'll block the sun a bit and I might be able to finish off cutting the grass. Okay, so that's all finished. It wasn't too bad, didn't take very long. Got a bit of cloud now as well, so it's starting to keep the sun off me a bit, which helped, I hope it doesn't rain because it's still all sort of like fluffed up from the digger. It's much easier to dig it out and move it around, and if it rains it's all going to like squish it down and it'll make it into a more difficult, more messy job. Last night here, there was a massive swarm of bats all came out of like the hills up there. There's quite a few of them around tonight as well. If I zoom in, you can probably see a few. But last night there was hundreds, if not thousands of them. They're swarming around over the top of the hill there a little bit. So I get some nice cold water in there, ready for when they come in a little while. Are they muddy? Well, all right then. Pen says the dogs really want to come in, so I'll let them in, I guess. I don't think they're that clean, but if they want in, I suppose. Okay, thank you. Looks good. Oh, you did fry the potatoes a bit. Good. Okay, thank you. Very good. Thank you. What have you got planned for my pudding? Muffin. I'll have a muffin. Oh yeah, look, we've got like a muffin drawer. This is where Pen's keeping all the muffins. Oh, they're all sticky. Pen, do you want a bite of my muffin? Crazy. Probably should have another one as well. Those two muffins really were a very good idea. Life is better now that I've eaten those muffins. Just wasn't the same up until this point.